you're looking to improve areas that you have been suffering with, well, I have something for you today, and this one is a doozy. This book right here that was recommended by my fellow friend and Autistic Carnivore group member on Facebook, Lisa, mentioned it to us in our group. So thank you, Lisa. This is why it's super important to join a community to find new and important information that people may share with you. Dr. Melillo wrote an interesting book about how to help those with mental conditions, and the book made it easy to understand how the brain works so that you can understand your child or yourself a bit more. Far from the current medical belief, Dr. Melillo says autism is curable. This book is for those with autism, ADHD, Tics, Tourette syndrome, OCD, bipolar, schizophrenia, and vestibular imbalances. After doing many MRI scans of autistic people, structurally, Dr. Melillo says that there is nothing physically wrong with the brain of an autistic person, which means that if there is nothing wrong with the brain, it should be fixable, with the caveat of those with actual physical brain damage or more severe genetic development issues such as Fragile X. The brain is neuroplastic, which means the brain is malleable. And I've explained in past videos that it doesn't matter your age. So even when you're 80, your brain still can change and repair. Stroke patients are proof of that. In the book, at the time, his belief of autism was due to missed or lacking exposures in the brain areas during pregnancy and or even while the child was growing up. However, after doing more current research on Dr. Melillo, he more so emphasizes that autism symptoms come from the primitive reflexes that still remain stagnant in the body. Primitive reflexes are automatic responses such as startle reflexes, sucking reflexes, hand grasping reflexes, etc., that many autistic people seem to not have graduated from, so to speak. Because of this, the brain is in a sense frozen in time, as the development stopped where the primitive reflexes remained. Dr. Melillo emphasizes that there is a right and left brain communication issue due to a delayed growth in one side of the brain. He mentions that many autistic individuals tend to have a right brain growth delay. And just to see if you have a delay, an example of right or left brain tendencies are as follows. The right brain, figurative language, such as the comprehension or production of metaphors, humor, and idioms, or the making of requests, which explains why those of us who are autistic tend to take what someone says more literally, because the left side of the brain doesn't interpret figurative language. The book includes a PDF to help you assess and figure out which side of the brain has a delayed growth. After completing that, and you know if you or your child is more left or right brain delayed, you can tailor what brain exercises your child needs, which is also included in the book. Some of the evidence that I have found of why this works is by National Institute of Health. Quote, children and adolescents aged 4 to 17 years who participated in brain balance program for 3 months experienced on average a decline in ADHD symptoms in parent-rated scores on the Brown Attention Deficit Disorder scales. More than half of these participants experienced statistically significant reliable change in attentional functioning from pre to post program, especially in participants who had more pronounced attentional issues at baseline. Additional investigation on the program's effects on cognition found that children and adolescents who participated in the brain balance program for 3 months showed significant overall improvements in cognitive performance and improved performance on distinct tests of memory, reasoning, verbal ability, and concentration. A majority of a sample of parents also reported improvements in their children's anxiety levels and emotional functioning after 5 to 6 months of brain balance program participation. After reading this book, in my opinion, things to consider. I contacted Brain Balance, and here are some drawbacks or some things I felt I needed to address after reading this book and after getting in contact with Brain Balance program. One of the drawbacks after having an initial assessment with one of the Brain Balance assessors, point blank, it's not cheap. We're talking a few to several $1,000s. And to say that this is the only way to work on the brain would not be true, as other sensory enrichment therapies have also been written on National Institute of Health to show major improvements as well, and probably doesn't cost as much. However, I do like that there are brain balance facilities that you can go to, and the fact that they are very targeted on what part of the brain has the problem, which many other programs are not so specific. Also, you might be able to apply for grants that may help cover costs. This is an investment, so you have to decide if it's worth it. For me, it's worth a shot. But keep in mind, per Dr. Melillo, some have had incredible improvements from just the book. It just depends on each person. And if you feel more is necessary, then reach out to Brain Balance for an assessment. With that being said, it's not just a one-person improvement. Once you understand their methods, you can actually use it on your family. But just don't tell Brain Balance I said that. So it may be really worth it when thinking of it that way. You're not just paying for one child, but also for the entire family. Whoever has issues with ADHD, autism symptoms, or even if you're neurotypical, but find that you lack in some areas that are right or left brain dominant, such as improving in being more artistic, or wish you were less shy, or have high anxiety, etc. I feel Dr. Melillo's dietary recommendations are a little behind, as he doesn't seem to know that those with autism, ADHD, etc. tend to have brain insulin resistance, which is why we do much better on a keto or carnivore diet. But what's interesting is he mentions this tidbit that made me reconsider what I thought I knew about gut health in the following clip.
What's the source? And more often than not, comes down to the brain. The autonomic system is out of balance. Everything. All bets are off, right? Parasympathetic system doesn't develop. It's going to affect somebody in multiple ways for their whole life. And most people, almost every patient that we deal with, has some sort of dysregulation of their autonomic system. They have gut problems. And most of them have been to people that have done really good work on working on healing their gut. You can't heal the gut if their brainstem doesn't work.
Those who are all about diet, this is something to actually consider. Is it the diet that started it all? Or is it the brain that has a dysfunction first? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Another thing to consider is doing the book's brain exercises can be difficult for those who have a child that can't do any of the exercises, which in this case, it is recommended to reach out to an assessor at Brain Balance. They will provide more tailored exercises for the level of ability where your child is capable of doing. Be aware. They do charge a $29 assessment fee, which to me is kind of worth it, as now I know where Raiden is specifically delayed developmentally. I know now that he's more right brain delayed, he's delayed in most of his primitive reflexes, and the fact that he can do these exercises to help him graduate from those primitive reflexes is quite empowering. Raiden couldn't do most of the book's recommendations, but the ones that the assessor provided, he is able to do almost all of them. I'm a believer that diet is not the only thing the brain needs. Finding external stimuli such as sensory enrichment therapy or the Melillo Method, and also to avoid environmental toxins as much as possible, would likely be key to helping the brain develop. Check out the videos at the end of the credit, as you'll likely find something of interest. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.